Hello traders, welcome to a new video on the channel. Today I did a live stream on YouTube and I had two winners and one losing trade, and I wanted to go over the losing trade because looking back on it now, it's very obvious the mistakes that I did, and I think this can be a really good learning opportunity for everyone, myself included, just to reinforce these concepts. No matter how experienced you are, sometimes you just miss things, you don't react quick enough, and then, you do something that wasn't the best setup. So I'm going to break down for you what I did in this losing trade and go over what went wrong with it. So here we have, I'm going to be going back and forth between Sierra Chart and TradingView, but I executed this on Sierra Chart. I'm trading copy trading two take profit trader funded accounts. I trade both ES and NASDAQ. This loss, I took it on the ES. Okay. And so if we start off first during the session, if I go here on NASDAQ, you can see that I had a winning trade at the beginning of the session right here. We had the market open at 9:30 for the regular session, pushed up, came back down below the lows of the overnight, the extended hours, and then we pushed back up. And so I said, if I see that we retake and reclaim these lows, then that's going to be a signal for me to look to get long. Also, if we are flipping this area, which is one of my higher time frame low volume node areas, if we get back on top of that, because this is a very common scenario where we have a probe or a false break below a previous high or low, and then we come right back in and we get a nice squeeze to the other side. And that's what happened this morning. You can see I got long over here and my exit was right back at this highs. Obviously, in hindsight, it would have been nice to just let it go even further. I did get into another little trade over here, which I'm going to go back to this later on in the video. But we also had the rolling VWAP from overnight. So for me, that was a good area to secure profits. So based on that, I was already green in the session. And so, when you start off with a winning trade and you're already in profit, it gives you a little more confidence, and it makes you be a little bit more relaxed to try to get another trade. And then going on that, here is the mistake that I made on this trade. As you can see, I pretty much got bottom ticked for looking for a breakdown right over here. I went short and it squeezed me back up pretty much right into this area at the top edge of the node. Okay. If I would have left it open, I could have tried to get out almost at break even here, but I had my stop pretty much just beyond this high here, because for me, this was my invalidation. This would set up like a bearish over under. We did get a reaction from it, but you can see we just came right away and blasted through. So, I could have had an even bigger loss if I would have just kept it open. And my stop loss, was just beyond here. And it pretty much got triggered there at the edge. I prefer to get out because I saw this consolidating and I thought we were going to push higher. Okay, now, why did I get in here? So, I saw that the market was pushing up strongly, but then I identified this. Oh, that's too fat. I identified this reversal triple drive pattern. This is one of the main reversal price action patterns that I like to use. And again, you can look on my channel here on YouTube or check out my trading courses for much more in depth on all this patterns and concepts. But we were coming up, we were going to the top edge of this node and we started pushing down. Obviously, the move had already happened. So, had I not already been in profit, I probably would have just been more patient and waited. But when I saw we were coming down near these lows again, and also if I go into trading view here, just to show you, this is again the triple drive that I was talking about. And if we look at the MACD indicator, you can see that we also had a bearish divergence on the MACD. So that was a good signal of the reversal. We did get a reversal like we talked about. I mean, we did come down, but the big mistake that I made, and I actually have an entire video on YouTube called The Biggest Mistake in Volume Profile Trading. And that's exactly what I did on this trade. I did the biggest mistake. And that was, I felt like this was a strong reversal signal. And so I was looking to see if we could break below these lows here. And my target was a move back into VWAP. That's what I was targeting, okay? But as we can see here also, we were holding the 21 EMA nicely and we broke below it and we back tested and started rejecting it. So that for me, I had the breakdown of the 21 EMA, the back test, the triple drive reversal pattern with bearish divergence. And so when I saw that, I got a little impatient and I jumped in short right here. And then pretty much you can see, what happened afterwards. We bounced and right here, that's where I got stopped out on the trade over there, okay? I mean, looking back, I could have put my stop loss even higher above this high, but I put it just beyond Valley Area high here, right above this. And, I think just due to the slippage and everything, I just got taken out right over there. But as I mentioned, even though we pull back, eventually the market just kept pushing even further and further up, okay? Like we had over there, okay? And so, that was pretty much the big mistake. It was preempting just because we were coming down to this previous lows and we had a bearish reversal pattern. I was trying to get ahead of the breakdown when I was already late in the trade. I should have been in somewhere up here, definitely not, just going in right at these lows, okay? And if we want to look for even more confluence, looking back at it now, if we want to go with order flow as well, we can see that on the delta profile, we were having a lot of aggressive selling that got absorbed in these areas over here. So when we were coming back into areas where a lot of large limit orders had been absorbing all this aggressive selling. If I go into the this is a 3000 tick chart, by the way. If I go into the footprint chart, you can see right here, this was the entry, this was the exit right over here. And so we had all these clusters here of high selling that were getting absorbed. You can see here a couple of very nice absorption candles there, another absorption candle here. We did have an absorption up here. So this was the triple drive here, and you can see we had a nice bearish divergence. We got some some of this aggressive buying, a lot of trap traders buying at the highs got squeezed to the downside. But then here, I just got in late. At the time, I didn't wait for this entire candle to close, because at one time, if I zoom in here, this was looking like we were going to get a nice buying absorption, because you can see high volumes of buying here. And at one point, this candle was looking like a bearish pin bar candle with all these buyers trapped at the top. Okay, so here I've activated the simulation mode to do a little chart replay here on Sierra chart. So this is the triple drive that we had here. We're reversing down, and this is where I was watching. We're retesting this high volumes of selling. So at the moment I was looking at this and I was like, okay, this is going to be probably my fine support. But then once we come back down here, and you'll see, we're going to close this candle and then we're going to go into the next one. Let me just accelerate this a little bit. But see, this is where I got trapped. So I see we're pushing down. We're coming back. Again, a lot of aggressive selling at the bottom. So definitely, and bottom of high volume nodes. So those are already warning signs to not, preempt a breakdown. But then we started pulling this. You can see a lot of buying, aggressive buying, and yet the candle is holding lower, and we're getting a lot of aggressive buyers near the top of the candle. So when we started printing this is when I got in. I pretty much got in right there when I saw that we closed right below this high volumes of buying. I thought this is just going to snap and we're going to break through. And then, unfortunately, I found myself on the wrong side, pretty much got faked out at the bottom. And then this is just going to now start squeezing. Let me just make this faster. You can see there, there's a lot of buying that is really like not going through. And so I was preempting, but then right there, as soon as we just got back above this clusters, that was pretty much, that was pretty much it. So you can see it did look like it wanted to break down, but it was just not, I didn't wait to get the best confirmation on it. Okay, but that was pretty much a walkthrough of this volume profile mistake. Well, volume profile and also order flow mistake that I made into this trade. You can see even later on, we come back to that same area and the same thing. We just keep holding near the bottom of this high volume node. Again here, eventually we did break down below it. But then, I ended up green on the day. It was a good day because I was saved on NASDAQ later. I was still a little bit in profit from the first trade after this. But then on NASDAQ, I pretty much applied the same concept, but this time I got it right. You can see on NASDAQ for my second trade, we have this high volume node, which, it's more developed now, but at the time it was a little less developed, but we still had, a shape like this, and we came down near the bottoms. I was seeing that ES was holding, and I got in long near the bottoms here. And I ended up At the time, this high volume node was smaller, and I ended up getting out, at this highs, which at the time, this was the edge, the top edge of the node here. And you can see we did end up reversing again. Okay. But overall, I ended up in a green day, but with a losing trade that could have been perfectly preventable if I would have just stuck better with my trading rules and guidelines. And so I thought I would just share this with you all. I think this is going to be useful. Again, if you want to learn more about all these concepts, you can check out my trading courses, the Discord group, and also I have a ton of free videos on YouTube as well. And yeah, with that, hope you've all enjoyed this, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.